Chabe was good because I actually found people I could talk to in my own language. But you know, when you go to a foreign place, it's not tribal. You just need to, if you go to Maju, say you go to overseas, you can't look for Africans. And then within these Africans, you look for now Kenyans. And then within these Kenyans, now you look for people from the lakeside. So that is how I landed in Shabab. We've not lost a single game in this in the last like 13, 14 games. We were actually headed for our third Kenya Cup series unbeaten until this new club came in the scene from nowhere.
Viewers, welcome. Come and join us today because we are going beyond the game. You know, in the game, a lot happens. And sometimes people say, calm before the storm. And the game is the storm itself. And after the game, there's calmness. But sometimes there is also a storm after a game. Depends on how things go in the game. And today we are going to discuss all that with Martin Owila on mentorship, team dynamics, and he's also going to demystify the spirit of Kenya rugby. Karibu sana Martin.
Asante sana.
Maybe if you can get to do justice and our best to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure.
And let the viewers know more about you.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think most viewers, I think, know me by face, and but it's good just we just introduce ourselves. So my name is Martin Owila Omondi. I'm a career and mental skills coach. Yeah, so passionate about leadership, mentorship, and sportsmanship. Married to one wife. Yeah, who is a woman. Very important to say. What for such a season as we are, and we are currently blessed with one baby. Yeah, baby boy just turned one last month. And amazingly, today is my wife's birthday. So when we were planning this, I quickly, just hit my mind. But we are here. We are here. We are here. So yeah, that is it about me, among other things.
What's your wife's name?
Oh, Vanis Kwamboka Ouko. Yeah.
Others, we'd like to thank you, for loaning him to us during the birthday.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry for stealing him away from you. Anyway, what does family mean to you?
Oh, for me, just growing up, I'm a firstborn of four, so growing up, I grew with mom a lot. And then later, rejoined just family. Sinwale, you grow in town, but they're just going at home. But I think family is the foundation. When there's a song that talks about when you have a strong family, then you're able to have a strong sports team, you're able to have a strong country, you're able to have a strong community. So everything is being shaped in the family. And I think even today, as we talk about sports and mentorship, and the dynamics that goes beyond sports, family is actually part of those that go beyond. Because apart from the field training, I mean, you go to training maybe thrice or four times a week, but with your family, you are there morning to evening. So it's actually key, for sportsmen who live under their families in terms of their parents, those who live with their families, of course, it comes to affect how we do in our sports. Yeah, you can imagine if on a game day on a Saturday, you had a very big quarrel or a challenge in the home, that will affect you in the field. So I think family is part of who we are, and it's something that we need to embrace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any siblings in sports?
Yes. My whole family is all about sports. My mom plays sports, actually rugby itself. Currently doing sports with the Kisumu County. Yeah, does discus and I think javelin. My brother played basketball, and then I think he dropped at some point. My sister plays football, which is currently what she does as a coach all round. And then my younger sister, she's just a dancer. Yes, she dances a lot. I see these clips and I see these TikToks. Yeah, but that's talent, so it's amazing. But it's a family of sports. I have cousins who played rugby. I have cousins who play rugby. I have cousins who played basketball. I have uncles who played football. Yeah, my uncle Isaiah is there. I mean, these are people who have played for AFC, Gore, and stuff like that. Yes.
I can imagine your family gets together, guys, competitive, eh?
Yeah, sure. It's quite a competitive game, quite a competitive, family. Mindset-wise are the things that we do. Yeah, so.
Have you had a chance of working out as siblings randomly, maybe just hitting the gym or doing a morning run or something?
Not really. Not really. I think most of the time when we meet, it's either family functions, and but you can see the energy that comes with sports. Most people in our family, I mean, siblings, uncles, aunties, they just love sports. Yeah, and then on the other female side of it, we have more teachers, more people who love singing. So we sing a lot also in any family function.
All about
Yes, yeah, sure.
and having.
I'd have a good time. And you can see how that also comes to, influence me even in sports. So I love leading the songs and the chants before we get into the field with KCB Rugby and Kenya 50s.
Now I know. I didn't know.
Yeah, so that's what we
You
do.
have to look for those clips.
Yeah, no, they're there. Yes.
You can sing one.
On KCB we have quite some very many songs, but most of the songs that sometimes we sing towards the field. Of course, we have "This is the day that the Lord has," but you have to be hitting your chest or hitting your head. And then we have Bwana ametoa uziwa. So it's just to get us into that motion, to get us in that mood, and just get people ready to hit something and hit someone.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of eating, we are chisel and we chisel each other through the tertiaries. And you have an amazing program called Mentor Me. What specific values do you hope to instill in young athletes?
Yeah, sure.
And what motivated you to start Mentor Me?
Well, I happen to be a student leader. I told you I'm passionate about leadership, sports, and mentorship. Yeah, in another field, these are things that people say you are doing a lot of things instead of focusing on one. But I believe God has a way of just ensuring that if you're able to do your best in something and have results, it's actually part of who you are. So I happen to be a student leader in Mount Kenya University. And something that I noticed, it is after we vied and won, and then we were taken for induction. And that used to really click in my mind. I was still wondering, why do I need to be taken for induction after I've won an election? My thought was, I'm vying for president, and maybe James is vying for president, and the other person is vying for president. Take us through an induction of what we are coming to get, what we are coming to do, what we are coming to serve, who we are coming to serve, how we need to do it. So that from these three that you've trained in leadership, whoever wins, already you've mitigated few challenges. And so that is why I started Mentor Me program. I started it back in Mount Kenya University. And what I used to do in Mount Kenya University is to gather leaders around. So I'll have class reps, class representatives, association leaders, sports captains, CU, YCS, MAMCU, SDA leaders, and be talking to these leaders per time. Because I felt like with everything, falls on leadership, right? So these are leaders within the university and they head different sectors. So bringing resource persons who will talk to these leaders on different things, spirituality, concerning the academics, was key for me. So that is how that started. Sports then came in because one, I'm a sportsman and I'm passionate about sports. So career and sports used to be a question I used to get a lot. When I go for interviews, you may say, how do you balance between sports and academics, this and this? And so that arose as part of a pillar within Mentor Me program. Yeah. So Mentor Me program simply means the mentorship is to you. Yeah, mentor me. Yeah. So whatever we do, the mentorship is to you. And we draw our core values from Covenant University. I picked it from Covenant University in Nigeria, which is SIM card. So whatever you do with that SIM in the phone for the phone to operate, just inserting it and then making sure that you're able to call, you're able to text, you're able to access different kind of, because of that one SIM card, is the same thing that we instill in our mentees. So S is for spirituality, I is for integrity, M is for mental development, C is for capacity building and character, A is for attitude, association, R is for responsibility and resilience, and then D is for discipline, dedication, and yeah, so those are the values that we intend to instill in our mentees.
Mentor Me.
Yes, yes.
How many guys have you been able to work with so far, and what's the ripple effect?
Wow, it's quite great. I started it as a program within the university. Right now, it's running as a club within the university, and I'm also running it on my side in the outside space. So the transition has been, I get a lot of invitation to schools to talk about career and mentorship. Yeah. And then I've also worked with different sports departments. I was in South Coast Pirates last season.
Nice.
And I told them, Maze, whatever we're going to do, when you add to what the coaches are telling you, I'm going to see you guys in Kenya Cup, and they can attest to that. So for me, that's really a good joy that something happened and I'm able to see the results. They are here in the Kenya Cup season this season. Amazingly now, I'm in KCB Rugby, and we're actually competing against them. I also did a session with Kisumu All-Stars football team. Yeah, just in Nairobi, and we were just talking about different kinds of things. The assumption is sportsmen, rarely can sit down and listen to people talk, which I think it's key because we actually need it. The effect is so much because I have mentees who text and call and say, Maze, this and this happened. You get to realize actually later. I have a sports person by the name Horace who told me I was almost giving up until I, watched a video talking about this and that. And also, a testimony of, I've left doing exams at some point and went for sports. I've left going to class at some point, I went for sports. Then I realized, you know what? This sports is not going to end any soon. But I'm only here in the university for a specific time in the season. So I decided to come back, do my studies, finish my degree. My class graduated in front of me, earlier now. But the end result is that I also managed to graduate, which I think is key. Uh, what we borrow from sports is about getting results. So the ripple effect is key because as a student leader in Mount Kenya University, I saw different clubs that died. Some, just went with the founders. There's one that was started with the likes of Charles Karondo, Edwin Opati, and it used to be called Integrity Club. If you're going to be a student leader, these guys will drill you so hard. And when I saw that club just going to, I said, no, I would not want to see a mentoring program go the same way because I saw what it did for some of us. Yeah, so that also helped me to come up with a constitution whereby you cannot have all fourth years as leaders in the club. So the chairman will be a fourth year, assistant will be a third year. We have a second year taking a specific position in the first year. So that is what the club has maintained to date. So that even after our graduation, we do it every Monday, like today, from 4 p.m. So it's always there, just different venues within the university and within Thika and these environments.
How has mentored me affected you or impacted you as Martin?
Sometimes when you're the one running things, and you're also part of it, I think it has really done me well because it has led to different things per time. Remember, this started just by talking to different leaders within the university. And then from there, now I get invitations to schools. And then from there, now I'm getting invitations to clubs and sports teams and stuff like that. And then from there, now I'm getting online sessions. And this has led, for me, number one, actually, is also growing in my own mentorship because I actually realize you cannot give what you don't have. So that means that on my own part, I have to keep on becoming, I have to train, I have to build capacity, I have to work on my speech and communication because you're going to be talking to people. And this led me to do sessions with, I went for a session with the Emerging Leaders Foundation at some point, did a session with them on leadership and mentorship. I paid for it because it's an investment. And I did a session again, a training session with Rapid Leaders Africa. I've done training with Inspiration Kenya and also AYLF, Africa Youth Leadership Forum, yeah, that is being led by Mr. Gabriel until to date. They took us as student leaders from when we handed over, then they take you through training. What after student leadership? Because that student leadership, you might want to attach yourself to it. So when you're taken through trainings, and that is where I think where we started, where mentorship then becomes given to a sports person. Because you know at some point you are going to hang your boots. If not, there is an injury that is going to come. If not, the contract will end. If not, something will go. Yeah, your parent can just come here and say, Maze Niaje, now you need to. We've seen many of our sports key players that, they had to go strive for their education or work because of family, because of influence, because of this. So Mentor Me program for me has been a very key area that has not just mentored me personally, but I've seen it help me on how I relate with my own mentees and also how I package myself to my fellow peers, sportsmen, leaders. And it has given me, some also access to the different platforms. Just one instance, the training I did with Rapid Leaders Africa was on leadership and mentorship. So years after we've graduated, we've had a pass out. Emerging Leaders Foundation is being called to Strathmore University. There's an event that was happening it was a football event training. So they request ELF to help them run the session. And in that running the session, they request for someone who can talk to these young men about sports values. Guess who do they contact? One of the alumni who happens to be Martin Owila. So that for me was not just in vain. It was not just building capacity, but those are also some of the benefits you get by just doing different training is in line with what? Your career, your area of passion, or your area of calling. And last year, during the, no, it was this year, during the Career Expo with NTV, ELF also is being called on the scene. And who do they call to be part of that? They also call me again. Why? Because I'm growing in this area of career and mentorship. And so, as one of the alumni, they're also able to recommend you. So, that becomes a big plus for me in terms of this line of mentorship.
And there we see, you went through a training.
Yeah.
And you were seeing you execute.
I'd execute.
And now, because of your execution,
Yes.
you're getting referrals.
You are now getting referrals at call.
Viewers, today is just all about beyond the game.
Yeah, sure.
Beyond the game. So what undergraduate did you take?
I did a bachelor's in community health and development. I love work with community. And I usually say this a lot, when I go to interviews, and I know it surprises some people, but that has also helped me in my, line of leadership and mentorship, career development talks, etc. So for me, I started my schooling with a certificate in community health back in Kisumu, Great Lakes University of Kisumu. And then I moved and did a diploma course in Mount Kenya University, Nakuru campus, playing for Nakuru Rugby. And then that is how I ended up in the whole fraternity of health sciences was actually moved to the main campus because there was a structure coming in Nakuru. So health sciences wanted to learn community health. But public health yote, we go further to main campus. And then now that is how I used to admire KCB a lot back when I was Kisumu. Andrew Omondi had already gone in that place. My own peers, Jacob Oje has followed. Esau and the brother, the twin brother, have also followed. Rocky Aguko. Different players that I played with in Kisumu. Most of us from Kisumu will just land in KCB or land in Ngong Road. Yeah, but I love this side. So Thika to KCB, that for me was a distance I could sacrifice and cover. Yes, so that is how that came in place.
Speaking of rugby that you gotten into already.
Yeah.
Just to take us back a little bit, your journey, if you can tell us your journey from Kisumu RFC to KCB RFC, and what key experiences now prepared you, because you didn't just stop at the clubs.
Yeah, sure.
The national team.
Yes.
How was the journey?
Well, as a believer, I privileged to serve with Owina International Nairobi as the youth leader there. And as a believer, I think I now get it more clearer when they used to tell us what you say, becomes. Playing for Kisumu Rugby was a good foundation for me. From Moma Bay High School, that is the first place I landed in to play as a club. And that gave me a good formation, a good foundation. We used to have, different people that we would hear about their testimonies, the likes of the late Okwaro, Sir Paulo Kongo. These are people who had, made it to the gist of the national team, Newman Opio. And we are different people, just that we could look up to. But one thing I desired, I used to ask myself, how comes? Because everyone in the national team for me, I used to feel like they're just in the clubs in Nairobi. Not looking at the dynamics of that time, I've not looked at the dynamics of transportation, blah, blah, blah. I'm just thinking national team, you can get anyone from any place. And for me, I desire that, some of us will be called to the national team direct from Kisumu Rugby. And so Kisumu Rugby being a foundation, 3-4 seasons, we play Nakuru Rugby for the very first time, Eric Shally Shield, and we actually win during our season, that semi-finals that time. And 5 of us are noticed, and I'm then able to go to Nakuru Rugby. So that leads for me to go to Nakuru. I went to Nakuru specifically for rugby. And I landed, got my friends there who had come from Nakuru to rugby. And also the relationship was already there. You remember Super Rugby? No. We used to call it Bamburi Super Series. Yeah, so in our own franchise, we used to be with Nakuru at some point before it became a Western, club stay. So that already had built a bond. Newman Opio, the late Jada, Sidindi were part of those who had actually done both clubs at some point. And so that leads me to Nakuru. So landing in Nakuru, I have my certificate, of course, then enroll for a diploma and ask the chairman if the club can support me for my diploma. And I get a space. I think half of that they were doing that. And then using my other finances, I was able to support myself with the same. So Nakuru Rugby, we play awesome place. My first time getting, I find also, wow, sorry, I'm mentioning too many late people today. But these are people who inspired me. The late Okombe receives me in Nakuru and tells me, welcome to the Club of Champions. Here is where we are going to win our Kenya Cup. And I win my first Kenya Cup with Nakuru against KCB, against Strathmore, and then the other seasons against KCB. And so Nakuru was a very, that is also another place now that helped me grow in my spirituality, joining Winners Chapel International Nakuru, more understanding. That is when also I joined Red Cross with much intensity from Kisumu, just to develop my, community initiatives and also grow in that perspective. And then I was undertaking my diploma course, and the school was just opposite the field. So it's just a walking distance from the school to NSC. NSC, I walk back to Shabab area. Shabab was good because I actually found people I could talk to in my own language, in my own. When you go to a foreign place, it's not tribal. You just need to. If you go to Majus or you go to overseas, you first look for Africans. And then with these Africans, you look for now Kenyans. And then within these Kenyans, now you look for people from the lakeside. So that is how I landed in Shabab. Yeah, and it's been a great journey. Nakuru Rugby, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, two Kenya Cups in the place. We were actually headed for our third Kenya Cup series unbeaten until this new club came in the scene from nowhere. Yeah.
Which is the new club?
I don't want to mention that new club for now. So this club from Western Kenya, that's club, and we're like, it's not just new in terms of its name.
Yes.
The name is not new in the Kenyan industry because we have been, consuming its sugar at some point. The players don't look new to us though. So it's a whole group of, experienced players, and the likes of Ogot from KCB are there in Cabra Sugar. We are playing our semi-finals. We are playing at home. We've not lost a single game in this home in the last 13, 14 games. And so we are sure of the finals. We are going to face KCB. I mean, we are so sure about winning against KCB in these finals. And the semi-finals are a double header. So Strathmore is playing against KCB. We are playing against Cabras. We actually back from South Africa, the national team duties. And so it's our own game of mixture. Both semi-finals have different teams, different players within the national team. Kenyan Dollar playing for Strathmore at that moment, coming all the way from South Africa. He's able to take a penalty all the way from 70 meters. Strathmore was almost winning this game. And then KCB just won the game. So it is our turn. And we scored the first try. Yeah, it's an up and under. The ball falls, I think, bounces around two times. Coleman gets the ball, passes to Dalo. Dalo scores. But the game just gets a new turn that we don't. The atmosphere changes. The pressure is high. These guys bringing a game that we've never seen. We've not played them as much because these are. I think they were just new. We played them at some point, but not in this level of high level of semi-final. So we lose that game, and we lose it in a way that I've never forgotten. Even when I went to KCB, something that used to. It's a Cup is ref in this game. We have a penalty, last play. Our scrum has been working the whole season. Everyone knows in this Kenya rugby. Everyone knows this scrum, you cannot beat it in any point. And so we call, it's a knock on. It's our scrum. We don't know the bench has been called. And that just has a shift on changing the whole skirmish. Of course, we get the ball, but we cannot push it all the way to the try line. So we get the ball outside to Gibson Weru, now the coach for Menengai. Gibu gets it to number 10. My namesake Martin, who gets it to Kichwa. Kichwa, with all his zeal, with all his capacity, with all his body and physique, we've never seen Kichwa being held up, not by two or three people. And that is actually what happened. And through that held up, I think that is how we lost the game by 3 points. And we thought to ourselves, why, in sports school, there's that ninge, tunge, which does not exist. So we are asking ourselves, why could we just go for the 3 points? Because we were so good with what we call sudden death moments. So, but that is how that season came to an end. We cried. We really cried. I think I cried myself in that day. And then that season now, the next season is when moving to Thika, main campus for my degree. And then now I joined KCB 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. I do my seasons with KCB. My Kenya Cup continues. For this break, I was playing for MKU. Yeah, I did some Kusa games as I, away myself and just strategize. We won Kusa for the very first time. Also, sometime with Mount Kenya University, we used to call ourselves the Titans, MKU Titans. And then now KCB Rugby, Kenya Cup 1, Kenya Cup 2, Kenya Cup 3, Kenya Cup 4. And then now to what we've seen. National team, I'm called up through 15s aside first. So I joined the team that goes to Vodacom Cup for the very first time in South Africa. Amongst the team members, there are those who have played under 20 and this, but that is the season that I'm called up through Nakuru Rugby. And I joined the team in South Africa for a camp and then for the World Cup qualifiers in Madagascar, where we lose with 1 point against, the tournament points now against Zimbabwe. So sevens, I'm called up through KCB. Sevens. And sevens now, I was called up through Nakuru still. So there's a strike that has happened. Kenya Sevens are starting to work out something for the betterment of the players, of course. We actually get to know this later. As young players who are excited, you got called up, you're thinking of the allowance they play and stuff like that. So we get called up from the 15s aside to fill in for the SAF 7s, Safaricom 7s. We played and then we go for, I think, Dubai series, Dubai to Cape Town, and a few. We survived relegation that season. The new boys will join us. The old boys join us, before the season ended. And so they were able to salvage and get us to a point. But on the 2 occasions, I've enjoyed 15s more. I've played 15s more with Kenya Simbas than 7s. I never played 7s match. It was, I think, 4-5 circuits. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. So, and then 15th, I get called up by Jerome Pawata, who is now back with the national team, or sometime, Elgon Cup, Africa Cup, and stuff like that. We were sure of going to the World Cup. Yeah, I'm not trying to, this is actually the truth. If you ask any players, they can tell you, from that 2015, when even that time that we lost with 1 point, the zeal, the sacrifice was there. You can tell by the nature of the kind of players, being led by Captain Wilson Kopondo. We had Akina Lavina Sego. These are top players with, who have played for long and still will sacrifice to make time to come and be with us in camp. So it will show you that indeed the opportunity was there. Alfred Kayange came in the camp. Injera was in the camp, and Omondi, all the way from Sevens, they came and joined us. Actually, from there, they went to the Commonwealth Games and stuff like that. So we are hoping to see the next generation take us to the World Cup. Yeah, and I believe
it will come to
it's come to pass. So it will come to pass.
in all this, Martin, you've spoken, you brought out the importance of relationships.
Yes.
Because you come from one level to the next to the other.
Yeah.
Through relationships.
Yeah, sure.
This is an important skill or important thing to have as athletes.
Yeah, and I think we when you ask the question about some of the experiences that has prepared me even for this journey, relationships comes out very key. I'm reminded by a scripture in Hebrews 6 and verse 12. The Bible says, "Don't be lazy, don't be slothful." Yeah, paraphrasing, don't be one man army. But the Bible says, be followers of them who through faith and patience have gotten their promises. So the journey where you want to go as an individual, as a sportsman, there is someone who has walked that journey. There are challenges that they face. There are things that they got into that they are not proud of. And so they don't want you to come into that space because of the talent and, the potential that you yourself have. So God is trying to give us the wisdom whereby find those who have gone your way. I started inboxing Wilson Kopondo, Lawrence Buyachi, and I think Kayange, I once asked for some boots. Kierere kidogo, but it helps because you see where you want to go to. And at some point, they will just, answer you and say, you keep on working hard, you'll make it this place. I remember when I joined the Kenya 15s, Wilson Kopondo told me, congratulations, you are here. Now work more harder. You see? So these are different. This is what we call mentorship is all about followership. There is someone who has gone ahead of you. You want to go that journey. It took them 10 years. If you're able to follow after their values and be guided by them, it will take you lesser years, let's say 5. So mentors and coaches become very key. There is no sports star without a coach, unless you just want to play for fun. You know. So coaches are also part of those who are mentoring players. There's something they see in you that you might not see in yourself. And then the other thing I think also is clubs that are experienced, clubs with resources, and then exposure. Exposure is one of the key experiences that I feel really did well for me. Coming from South Africa, Vodacom Cup really changed our perspective of sports because we were playing people with high tech, mindset, development, resources. The games there are intense, yeah, and you can see where Argentina is because of just that route from Vodacom Cup to this to Carry Cup to now. Right now, Ajibaji, as we call them in Kenya, these are contenders. You see what they're doing in service right now. Yeah, and we are also going to see the same in 15. So I think relationships are key. As a sports person, for example, you cannot be, a one-man individual. Sports in itself is a teamwork. Yeah, sometimes we usually joke, and this is not to speak ill about, people who play. Sometimes when I ask my mentees, so which sport do you play? Some say tennis, and we say those are hobbies, those are not sports. Because, because when you win, you only enjoy the fruits and your bonuses alone. For rugby, football, but it has that communal sports. So that teamwork is very key. They say there is no I in a team, in the word team, yeah. So we embrace that kind of relationship.
And that is so true because if you look at even the hobby sports, as you
Yeah, on a lighter note.
on a lighter note,
Yes.
behind the scenes, they're working with their team.
They are working with the team.
They're working with
Yes, only because of their nature.
yes, they're working with medical personnel.
Yes.
These are
The psychologists are there.
psychologists.
Yeah.
It's a whole team always. And as we talk about psychology,
Yeah.
public health, as we go into that, how does your work as a public health officer influence your perspective on the importance of health, fitness in sports?
Something about amazingly, what I was saying, my sports mates know. I wasn't, the gym kind of a person. Where I grew from in Kisumu, one was raw. You get it. Art. But it reaches a point where this art is malleable. You you need gym, you need rest. That's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter. And let me mention another scripture. 3 John verse 2. The Bible says, God says, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So the place of, physical fitness, the place of, your body, physique, and wholeness and sanity is very key. Then most of the things that, community health, we were at public health department, we look at the place. There is what we call curative measures of health. Yeah, there's rehabilitative, and then there is preventive, and then there is promotive. So since we are here in the promotive measures of health, yeah, water and sanitation, yeah, wash your hands, those are promotive measures of health. So community health development, we deal with these places of promotive measures of health. Now, if I take this as an example on, physical fitness, that is trying to promote future injuries. You're trying to promote future decadence and stuff like that. So in sports, your soul, your mind, your body are very key. Very, very key. Very, very, very key. For you to maximize and just be effective in your play. I usually tell sports people when I do my mentorship that this is our office. So anything that will mess up my body, anything that will mess up your mind, anything that will mess up your spirit, you need to stay away from it. Is it drugs and alcohol abuse? Is it this and that? Anything that messes you up to a point whereby it will mess you in the sports field, then it's something that you need to actually try and be responsible and keep away from. Yeah, that is why sportsmen are not encouraged to go out, before a game day or the D-Day. No alcohol, no this. Kitambo, I used to even hear no fizzy drinks. Nowadays, I think we can drink Coca-Cola and still play. But it was just to help you manage yourself so that you put your all in this sports place. Yeah. So you play well, you play for long, and you keep on impacting. Yes.
And as you've said, the mind and the body
Yeah.
is key
Very key.
to a sports person. What mental skills, speaking of the mind, what mental skills do you believe every successful athlete must cultivate? And how can they develop these skills?
Well, I think we can touch on maybe three or so. Now, the number one thing is just from what you mentioned, mental development. And in mental development, you are looking at very many things. Remember, sports, there is winning and losing. And the good news is there is no team in this world that has not lost a game. Hata kama mkuwe juu ya table aje, at some point you've lost a game. And this is to help a sports person because we are no longer children. It is children that when they're being trained, they want to win all the time. Sports has that dynamics of, apart from winning and losing, there's also the pain, there's also the sweat that comes of it. So mental development brings in the place of mental toughness, brings in the place of mental resilience. And so emotional, you cannot be emotional in sports. Yeah, when you talk to your friends about those who don't understand rugby well, they say, now see you, the way that guy hit you, just look for him in the field. You can't be doing that. That is now being emotion. You just need to play the game by the rules. And if you're going to be looking for him, that means you're going to be creating spaces and creating gaps for your teammates. So mental development is one of, the mental skills that every athlete should really strive to build at. Yeah, the questions of how is your emotional intelligence? How do you react? Are you the kind of person just will adapt? Because, these are physical sports. Yeah, these are physical sports. How do you react to the captain, to the teammates? What is your language towards the referee? And then I think, without bragging, rugby is the most, intelligent sports in terms of how we handle our referee. We call our referees sir. Yes, sir. Okay? And for me, that is a whole growth when it comes to a sportsman. So mental development, mental toughness becomes key. Number two was actually on the relationships. Association is key. Yeah, they say if you work with thieves, you work with fools, you become one. He that walks with the wise shall be wise. Is that okay? So association here talks about who you relate with in terms of depth. How consistently you relate with someone. Are they building you or are they messing you up? Because that also is something that affects our sports people. You find that maybe we win as a team, we lose as a team. Association now is outside, beyond the game, beyond the stadium, beyond the tournament, beyond the league, beyond the season. Your association now, your relationship at work, at home, how does it affect who you are? And it's something that you intentionally need to build, whereby you say, I need to keep away from toxic people. I need to keep away. You cannot be working on your mental health and you're still insisting on staying with someone who is toxic to you. And it is only you that knows. As much as association matter, places matter. Environments are key. Environments are key. That is why you can get a glass of water. You come to, this Osoita Lodge.
Yes.
Yeah. And a different place, a glass of water can be 50 shillings. In a different place, in a shop, it can be 120. You come to a lodge like this, there's a different price. You go to the airport, the same water. Why? Because of environment. So as athletes, as individuals, we really need to really understand, how do I package myself to maximize on different environments? You know which environments take you seriously, which one diminishes you, which one gives you stress, so that you're also able to keep away from any toxic environment. Now, when it comes to mental skills, it's a whole lot of what we'll call, in school we used to call them what? Not really a course, but a whole lot of a whole lot of unit. But I think these are key: mental development, our relationships and associations, and also our environment. That is actually very, very key.
one important route is to any sports career is being a student athlete.
Being a student athlete. I love that word. Student athlete.
Either in high school,
Yes.
in college, in primary, there's a point in which a sports person is playing and studying. What are the non-negotiable traits you believe every student athlete should uphold?
Now, the non-negotiable traits for every athlete, for every student, when you talk about student athlete, already that gives you the place of hard work. Hard work in sports is non-negotiable. Yeah, you can't work smart. You know that time they usually say, no, don't work hard. You just need to. Say with sports, there is no working smart. The hard work part of it is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable at all. I think, let me simplify it in three ways, in three abbreviations. And it's something that I call be tough, okay? For these non-negotiable traits, you need to be tough. Number one, you need to be teachable. And teachability here talks about, are you someone who can be corrected? Teachability, you can be corrected. The coach can tell you this, the team manager can tell you this, before you throw your hands, before you answer back. Because the game is going on, time is going. The ref Poliza Firimbi, no one wants to care. There are certain mistakes that, yes, it was against you, but the game is going on. So teachability and being corrected means that you can be able to take it and then even ask later without shouting, without doing. And when you're teachable, that also means you are correctable. When you're correctable, that means that one of the non-negotiable traits in that column of T is, you being part of just making time to hear what the coaches are saying, listening to instructions. The other non-negotiable thing I think I would say is availability. We can't use you if you're not available. Is that not so? We cannot use you if you're not available. So your availability becomes very key. You cannot negotiate with that. It's not online. You have to be on the ground. We we have we are playing on Saturday. No matter the team, we don't want to know if they have just joined the league. You have to This is not high school where the likes of Barceno School and the Ala used to position some people. You only see them during semifinals. No, this one is different. League game, almost now every game is like a final. And I wish Kenya Rugby, we should get back to that point. There used to be a place, if you're facing Homeboys, Impala, Nakuru, KCB, every game used to count. You are getting into the semifinals, no one is unbeaten. You've lost something, yeah, or you have drawn, but every game used to count. Right now, you'll hear KCB playing Cabras, tickets sold out. KCB playing a different team. Why? Because we've already clustered them. So availability for any sportsman, for every sports person, is non-negotiable. We can't not use you unless you're available. The last one is F. And F, I abbreviate it as, just being faithful. And the good thing about this, because we are not here to look at if you're doing the right thing always. Being faithful, sometimes the coach will tell you we are doing 100 push-ups. Now, the good thing is this, you might not be doing it as fast as the others, because some of them joined this team way before you. So they've trained for a longer time. Their muscles have gotten used to this kind of method. You might not be doing it as fast as the other players, but you can do it to your 50 or that 100. So that is faithfulness. So it is non-negotiable to you because you need to be faithful to yourself. Because this is sports. If you lie, it will affect you first or the field before it affects the team. Yeah? And for us, we won't be happy you getting injured or you getting this and stuff like that. Yeah, let your injury be. There are injuries whereby it costs you because of your own fitness. I'm a witness to that. I've had such kind of a thing before. But there are those that you get because of sportsmanship in itself. So with those, three abbreviations, we can, next time maybe we get now to details of what each entails. Yeah, but I think we have something that shows us why this is very key.
Before I get to this next question, maybe this might be an interesting thing viewers would like to know.
Yeah.
How many Kenya Cups do you have?
Wow. Well, I remember having this talk with Brian Nikuli. Nikuli is one man that has played almost, we usually say, for all clubs in this country. On a lighter note, and he's won Kenya Cups with, Kenya Harlequins, KCB. And stuff like that. So I have 2 Kenya Cups with Nakuru Rugby Football Club. KCB, those should be a total of 6. There should be a total of 6 Kenya Cups.
So now 8 or 6?
No, those are 6 in total. Those are 6 in total.
Elgo?
Elon Cup, I'm not sure I can be able to count. Elon Cup 2015, 16, 17. Yeah. Elon Cup, yeah, some good. Floodlights, we can't be able to count. Yeah, but I was having fun with the young Asati now, a very great gentleman doing his position at the number 9. And I was telling him, I think as we've won everything except the World Cup. Yeah, there's a time we used to have what we call the Titans Cup. Kenya Cup winners versus Uganda Cup winners. We used to play. We played against Hesitans also. Those are great games that should be back. Yeah, those are great games that should be back. Yeah, and I think on that point, we need to remind sports people some things, yeah? No matter how many trophies you have won, there's someone who has more than that. So, yeah, that is just to let you know that, you know what, it's not something to brag about. This is your achievement, these are great. The medals are there, the trophies are there at home, to let you know that you did your part during the time. But it should not make you, to be now boastful. It should help you bring the younger players that you know what you can be. Before I go to Nakuru, I used to tell the coach, Kisumu had medals. Hii ya kuvaa kwa shingo. We never had a trophy at some point. I never remember. So I started holding my trophies in Nakuru Rugby. Yes, so that was just a transition of it. And the Asa move, because of their nature of sports, they were always on top. They've never had the medal, so they've just been having trophy. So you can still say, where you don't have this medal.
In experience, so far, played rugby, I think, for over now 15 years, I would say.
That should be, 2014. 2010, active club rugby.
2010.
Yes.
So 14 years.
14 years now.
What's the biggest challenge that a Kenyan rugby player faces, and what can be done to overcome it?
I think 3 stands out. The number 1 is usually the place of balance, and it comes a lot. The balance between career, work, and sports. Because we are not professional players, especially the 15s aside, unlike 7s whereby they have contract. But it still comes to be in their place. Many of our sportsmen in the rugby fraternity, some have dropped out of school. Some did not manage to get over with their schools. Some managed to graduate later, like some of us. Some have managed actually to finish and graduated. We celebrated many of them. And this became a challenge because you see, especially when you are someone who has been called to a university maybe through a sports scholarship, or you found yourself in the university and then got into sports. So the first thing that brings you into the university is academics. Okay? And any human being is fulfilled when they finish something that they started. So anytime that happens, you find that unfulfillment that will lead to different kinds of things. So that balance between career, sports, and which I believe it's possible. We just need to be guided. We just need to be taught, and to be taken through these, and these are things that when you engage, you can be able to reach. This is the destination. This is the goal. Because at the end of the day, for our setup as Kenyans, and sports is a tool that helps you get into a different place, access different doors, and just shape up where you need to shape up. Number 2 is on transition. And on transition, I mean now from sports to either now the job market, or your contract has ended abruptly, or you've just been dropped out of the team. Okay, transition in 2 ways. And I used to feel it at some point personally until we used to grow. Being dropped out of the team used to be so painful at some point. And I can tell you for a fact, sports people never used to look at the money. No. There is a way you feel the pride of just representing your country, representing your club, and doing what you love doing with passion. So it's something that we really need to calm, and that is where the mental health things comes in. Sometimes we just drop players out of the team. No one talks to them. No one advises them. No one takes them through that, you know what, this and this. We cannot take all players at the end of the day. We are 60 players. We only need 23 maybe to play for a specific day. But you see, because of the growth, because of the nature, because of the status of a player, for me, I think it's key that we need to have, every club, the national team, different setup, have someone, it can be the physio, a chosen person that can, talk someone about why they were dropped. It gives someone also room to improve on what they need to actually improve in. The other challenge I think will be on what we call, life skills management. We are not born knowing things. So if we can have, like what Wima Sports is doing, just having conferences and workshops to teach sports people about life skills, about this, about that, adds a lot to a player. Because that is how you find someone, maybe because of now stress and depression, either dropped out of the team, contract team Asia, this and this is happening. Some are having issues in their home, family issues are coming on board, workspace, other things even outside sports will still come back to sports. Is affecting different kind of players, and we don't know how to handle this financial management stuff like that, and that comes into hurt a player, and so that leads to depression. That will lead to this. That will lead to different kinds of things, and we've seen it happening. And it's such a sad state that we really need to do our part. I saw, was it South Africa, one of the clubs that even has such kind of a setup for their fans. Yes, because fan was crying like, Maze, no. They're like, no, no, you can come, we talk, we have a chat. And it's key. We are humans. Yes. We are humans at the end of the day. So for me, these three would actually stand out as, some of the biggest challenges, among others, that, we might discuss or hear from our viewers in the comment section. And, just to hear from different people telling us their own experiences. Yeah.
You discussed some key values. You mentioned hard work. You mentioned consistency, showing up, and all these other things. What role does discipline play in shaping an athlete's career? And how do you teach this value through mentoring?
Discipline. This is one word you can never miss to hear in any sport. But say to discipline. I remember in high school they used to tell us, discipline is doing the right thing at the right time and stuff like that. And this was just to get us to help us also to be our best. Now, talent is good, but talent will not sustain you. That is where discipline comes in. You are talented young man, you are talented young lady, but this talent needs to be refined. This talent needs to pass through to become a skill. This talent needs to pass through process. That process that talent needs to pass through takes discipline. The discipline to be in training, the discipline to be on time, the discipline to listen to the coaches, the discipline to listen to your fellow players, the discipline to grow within the system. It can't be that you just join the club today, tomorrow you know everything. That is lack of discipline. So relax. Even if you are national team and you get back and join a different club, there is a discipline that is required for you now to relate with different players part time. It helps you grow, it helps you become. So one of the things, the important part of discipline is that it will sustain you in any field, in any area. Because you know the right thing to do, you know the right thing to say, and where to do it and how to do it. And when I mention SIM card and I mention TAF, that is how for us we embrace this in Mentor Me program, whereby now the values abbreviated as SIM card, the D gives us the 3 Ds of discipline, dedication, and discipline, dedication. Give me the other D. We talk to our people. There's usually discipline, dedication,
Determination.
determination. Yeah. Discipline, dedication, and determination. When you are determined to make it to that national team, to make it for your club, to be your very best, to score on that day, it will take discipline of training this day. Okay? So that then leads you to being sustained. So the few ways on how we infuse this to our mentees is to help them know that whatever we are discussing, all these things will not be sustained without discipline. Discipline goes hand in hand with integrity. For example, you are a first class student, in fact, you got A in everything. You are now given a job in the bank. And, as an accountant, you're found stealing some money. It will not matter how much you passed. It will not matter your first class. They'll take you to jail. Why? There was no discipline of handling what was meant for you. You are a caretaker. That is what discipline also reminds us. We are caretakers of this jersey. So my part is to play my best, give my all. The next person will come and take care of that jersey. So discipline reminds you that you are not the owner here. There was someone before you that was wearing this jersey. There is someone that will come after you. So do your best, do it right, do it with your all. And that then takes us to the place of determination. Yes.
That's some big stuff right there by Owila. Martin. Viewers, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, it's beyond the game. Players' commitment.
Yeah.
This gets to affect team unity and success on the field. And a player might not be committed for only one day in 4 weeks of training. How does it affect their performance coming the weekend?
Commitment.
Yes.
I don't know if you watched, it's not a movie, but it's a compilation of Denzel Washington, different kinds of movies. It's one of the motivational talks that I think I've watched, motivational videos I've watched on YouTube at times. And one of the things he talks about, without commitment, he mentioned a lot of things. And then he ends by saying, without commitment, there will be no results. And so I agree that players' commitment becomes very key. I saw somewhere when I was coming today, it was written, effort takes a choice. Hard work takes a decision and a choice. Excellence takes decision and a choice. All these things that you're made a choice, it takes commitment now for you to make this choice. When you are committed to the team, when you're committed to the performance of the team, when you're committed to your fellow players, when you're committed to the system, when you're committed to the game plan, then it means that we are going to have results. And so commitment here becomes key because you have to sacrifice your own, you might have your own style of play, but because you want to be committed to what the coach has said, you want to be committed to the system, you want to be committed to the game plan, you want to be committed to what is happening currently in that 80 minutes, as long as the whistle has not gone off, it is what will give us results. And so I agree that with commitment, we are not just get results, but we also get to grow per time. With commitment, you keep on becoming. With commitment, it helps you now to make the right choices. And so players' commitment, we have different areas. There is a session that we do in sports called the 5 commitments of committed teams. Yeah. And there is commitment to love, there is commitment to serve, there is commitment whereby you serve with the other players, there is commitment to respect the opponents, respect the ref, respect your team, respect the jersey, respect everything around you. And that will also help you on how do you handle a win, how do you handle a loss, how do you talk to your opponents, how do you talk to the ref, how do you talk to yourself. So I agree that commitments become very key in the place of sports.
Yeah. You've been able, by God's grace, to be a utility player, played multiple positions through your career. How has this been to you, and how have you been able to be malleable and be able to adjust to these different positions?
Well, when I was coming, I was remembering this, and I want to tackle this in 2 ways.
Yes.
Because at one point it worked for my advantage. At one point it worked for my disadvantage.
Yeah.
Growing up in high school, I used to play backs. And the reason being maybe because of your physique, you just know I need to get the ball and run. When I got into club rugby, I ended up being a forward. Why? Height, so it was helping in my lineup duties, and that is how I ended up starting to play lock. Now playing lock, remember high school I used to play what? Center. So center, running around and stuff like that. Club rugby unakuja unapata now people are here running in a pace that you cannot be able to control. So the forwards was always working for me because of lineouts. I'm such an extrovert, I talk a lot, so calling on lineout calls and stuff like that would make me, I used to enjoy it a lot. And then I got into Nakuru Rugby, and now because I'm from playing a lock in Kisumu, now Nakuru Rugby, the kind of locks have more mass than you. And so they tried testing me in the back row because of my pace. The game plan then would allow us to have this pace whereby we find ourselves with Philip Kwame or the captain Madu, and then it finds us attacking the centers instead of attacking our forwards. So that game plan used to work for us. And that is how I got into the national team through back row. But because of height also, now you come. So that used to work for me because There's a coach that came with a system called, no, there's a system called 6-2 split, yeah? And that 6-2 split, in a way, it influences whoever now comes from the bench has to be someone who can play more than two positions. That thing worked for me for such a season, for such a time. And then we had another coach that came in that now is specific. For you to start in his team, you must be one that is actually key in your role. You are known here and there. Yeah, that's why they say jack of all trades, master of none. But for me, I understood myself. It never used to be a bother or an issue because I understood my transition from high school to club rugby, why I ended up being a utility back row. Why? Because my pace allowed me to be in that setup. And then because of my lock and height and line out matters and draws, that allowed me to that. Now, with what you have asked, it will just give me to talk to my to talk to the young players on this. Do your best, be the very best. As you are growing in sports, especially in rugby, if you're a back row, you play 6, play 7, play 8, play. As long as you are young and you're growing, play these things. And because I told you cannot be a sports star without a coach. It is a coach, therefore, that is able to notice that so and so is best in this specific area. For example, uh, we've just played the last World Cup match against Uganda on Saturday. Even while we were doing it at home, you saw Wainya being played at number 9. In the club, we play Wainya at number 10. We saw Polodera at some point played as Sati at number 13. We've seen Andy Cole is a lock in KCB, one of our best players, and he's under 20 at that moment. Andy Cole was paid at back row at this moment. And so different coaches also see different skill depending on their game plan and depending also on their own system of play. And so they feel like there is this strength that you have that will work for us in this position. You saw the wingers, you saw the centers, you saw the number 15. Some of them in their clubs, they've never played that position. But because of the skill that they have, because they keep on growing and becoming different coaches we want to see. So for me, as an individual, I would propose, especially anyone playing lock, back row, any you a center is able to play a center. You've seen people who can play 10, 11, 12, 13, and stuff like that. It's because it is in you. So you just need to perfect it and do your best in it so that it gives the coaches and the technical bench and the team ample time to, and you become a plus to the team. Yeah, this is a physical sport. This is a sport that has injuries. So in case it happens on the starting lineup, you can always be moved and someone else brought. So you become an advantage to the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as you say, that these are sports that had those, injuries come up and all this. And amongst even all other sports, there are always setbacks.
Yeah.
There are losses.
Yeah.
There are downtimes during, that injury period. Uh, what advice would you give to young players on resilience in such times?
Wow, resilience is something. It's something that we need to build as an attitude, number one, and as a, it's it's something that individuals will need to build, and one as an attitude, because your attitude then now will lead you to work on it intentionally. That is why you need to understand. At some point I said no team in this world has not lost a single game. Just to remind us that you know what, you are not perfect. You are not the fans' favorite. Today you will be fans' favorite, tomorrow they'll splash it on you. Today you'll be the favorite, the coach's favorite, tomorrow no. So you are not perfect. That should help you. Now in your resilience, you are able to take in that win, you're able to take in that loss, you're able to process the next step, you're able to process the next game. But you need to remind yourself that you are human, you are here. It is just a time and a season that you're going through. So no pressure about it. Just keep on doing your best. I think if we maintain doing our best, it also helps us in handling resilience and the setbacks that we have. When we lost that semi-finals against Cabras in Nakuru, we cried. One, our expectation was not for that was the season we were supposed to go and win our three-peat. We didn't even plan on winning it and beaten anyway. We were just, winning our games. Number two is that we didn't expect to lose at all. At all. At all, at all, at all. And then against a club that this, I think, was their first time or so in such a setup, semi-final. Not the players though, but of course as a club. So the name, yeah, that was it. But we had to build resilience whereby now the club cannot die without training us to continue. Yeah. We play, KCB were playing Fladis this time round. Everyone knew before we started playing that we would make it to the finals with whatever team that will come. Then we get a loss from Black Black, a team that we've been playing friendlies with. I mean, these are our neighbors. We didn't stop. We had to go play for the channel that we are in and go and won it. And that is it about sports. You can't choose to give up. And one thing that helps us with resilience is when you choose not to give up. You cannot afford to give up. I usually say in mentorship that as long as you wake up breathing, there is hope for you. Yeah, there's a scripture I love quoting that gives me a lot of zeal and hope from Job 14 and verse 7. There is hope for a tree. If it be cut down, it will sprout again. At the scent of water, at the scent of that training, you go for that counseling, you go for that visit, you go for that prayer, you go and see that coach, you go and see that teacher or your mentor. At that scent of taking steps towards certain direction, it will grow again. And we've seen pictures, we've seen an example of what we're talking about. So on resilience, you're not perfect. Keep doing your best. Don't give up. Don't give up.
No giving up.
Yes, no giving up.
And, resilience is not just one of the strengths
Yes,
athletes possess.
that actually,
Naturally. Yes.
yeah, sure.
You've started playing sports at a younger age as an athlete, maybe high school.
Yeah.
Well, that majority of athletes start to, active competitive sports to maybe club level. How can athletes use this and transform it into their day-to-day lives or whatever they do day to day, that whoever corporate out there, whoever is wanting to, you know, use an athlete even just for a brand, for marketing, for what? How can we let the corporate world and the business world know this strong value that athletes have of resilience and working with their brand?
And Jermaine, what you're saying is very key. Resilience being part of every athlete. One thing that has helped me in mentorship, one thing that has also helped me in my spirituality is sports. If I can wake up at 6 a.m. and go for training, then that means it's possible to wake up at 6 a.m. and pray. That means it's possible to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to work. That means it's possible to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to your farm or do any duty that is in line with you. If I can go to that field for 80 minutes, I'm running, eating each other, scoring, celebrating. They are leading at one point, we come and lead at some point. Just to let you know that life is not that smooth, that perfect. There is the ups and downs. For me, sports has been a great pillar in my life because it has taught me life skills and practical way of handling things. And that is why, as sports people, we need to be keen. How do we bring what we are getting in sports to our everyday life, to our career, to our spirituality, to our life skills? Is that okay? If I can sit down and listen to a coach, and do you know they can bring a new team member today and we tell him, you know what, bro, you are going to captain us in this team. I'll have to listen to him just to help you with your humility. Just because you know it all, just because you've been in the club for the longest time, doesn't mean that you cannot listen to this younger player. There is something that they have that you don't have. There is something that they may have seen somewhere else that you have not seen. Yeah? Another thing on resilience, you can go to the gym and train and sweat and feel the pain. What do? You get some breaks, drink your water, and go back and train. As long as you have not, there is a mark that needs to be met. There is what? A mark. Because one of the things is not the time actually in the gym. It's not like we take 4 hours in the gym, no. But the S&C coach, maybe, Shamia, will come and tell you, we are doing this for this number of times. We're going for this set. That keeps you going. So how do I relate that? You bring it to your workplace, you bring it to your career, your lifestyle, and say, what, bro? Sis, I'll need to have some targets. Let me write this down. I need to meet these targets. and you don't give up on it. You can take your breaks, breathe in, breathe out, stretch, drink your sip of water, but keep on moving forward. You remember that case of Martin Luther King? He said, if you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. Just ensure that you keep on moving forward. And so it's very key that we take that. The last thing I think I will mention is on communication. Yeah, I know we'll touch on it somewhere, but one of the things about sports, there are game plans. There's this, there's that. And we get these things when we go through trainings, when we go through constant communication. How can we bring this then to our life skills? We sing, we talk, we enjoy it. One of the things about sports, it brings out the introvert in you and self-esteem dies. It helps a lot. I've seen people who are so introverted, self-esteem chini, but because of sports, that was able just to overflow. Now they're able to communicate, they're able to relate, they're able to be bold. And so that in itself should be able to help you in your career. If there's something that helps people, I don't know how some people survive without sports. Yes, for me, I find it I find it challenging. Sometimes, I hear my youth pastor, don't preach, and he refers to sports. And I one day told him, I understand it. I hope others are also understanding it. Yeah. The other day he was preaching, he was telling us about a scenario about the game of champions. This battle of champions takes only, no. The other day we had these two people who were fighting, Tyson and who? As well as that guy. Yeah. So in this boxing arena, okay, let's mention millennials, we know Tyson. So Jay-Z will mention your own. So in this setup of a boxing ring, these are two champions, but they're coming for a crown. Number one, they're already being called champions before they fight. Number two, there's a battle that needs to be fought. So everyone knows that there's a battle that is going to go on, and everyone here is going to go with a package. Only that the package is on a different measure. And so those are some of the things that we can be able to put in place and know that my labor is not in vain. That is scriptural. So as I play these sports, the union might not pay me as much, the club might not pay me as much. And I'm saying this from my own experience. I'm saying this from my own, I'm not trying to agitate. As sportsmen know this. There is no one who can quantify you. You know the nature of your club, you know the nature of your union, you know the nature of your country. And so how do you maximize the international name? There are schools that allowed me to come into their setup because of the playing for national team. So that becomes a plus. And so I started saying, okay, I don't need to regret or complain or murmur about this and that. How can I then package what you told me to suit me and use it as my own benefit? Yeah. When I visited St. Christopher's International School for mentorship talk through, Kenyan Dollar, I met Kenyan Dollar in the national team. Going to Peponi, we trained there at some point. So also the national team gives you a name. You are not just any player that was called up to represent the national team. Yeah, and the truth is they might not have paid you as much as they need to be paid as other people are paying outside there. But because of our nature, and also for the hope that you, when you get to that place, when your time reaches, let us see something better. Yeah. Let us not also not see the Owilah and the others now, Wamifika Union. It should be something better. I find you, Mereka First Floor. The challenge we're having in leadership, I believe we've talked about leadership, and this is also something you can talk about is force. The challenge we're having, the biggest challenge in leadership, is transitioning from one leader to another. I find this young man has already made a good first foundation. I just need to come and lay my first floor. You come and do your second floor. But what do? We come and scrap off that foundation. You want to start your own. Huyu mwingine pia nakuja, he wants to bring down the second floor. I want to start my own. Instead of, one thing I learned in community health and development, instead of building new things or building new ventures, and sometimes you just need to improve on that which has been there. That which has been there. So yes, and there are things that you just need to improve on. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, so true. We've seen how much South Africa rugby has grown just
Some
by,
country. Building.
building and building.
Building on the former and embracing the former play. People have played this rugby. I think what we are being paid per game during our 15th season might not be what they paid the likes of Mwanja and Pau are now coaches, but you see the continuity, the resilience leads them to being a coach. You also want to give back. Andrew Amonde was a player at some point. Yeah. Oliver Mangeni, who is the current head coach for KCB Rugby, I believe played in his early days. Whatever they are paying players now in KCB Rugby was not what they were paid. Is that okay? And that is just to show you that also we need to have respect. We need to have honor to those who have gone ahead of us. That is why we mentioned that scripture. It is Isaac Newton who said that the reason why I have seen far is by standing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of me. Yeah, and sometimes, when we have things like clubs day and stuff like that, you have Wazee versus Vijana. It's just to be able to get wisdom from there. There are those who have done things, they know some challenges, they know some things that they are the ones who came with those initiatives. The initiatives that, you and I might find so full. Some of them did not use the locker rooms that we are using. Yeah. Some of them used to change there across the field. Some of them did not enjoy the luxury, the KCB buses that we are enjoying and stuff like that. And this is in every club. There are those who have gone ahead of us. We need to respect them. We need to honor them, and also seek wisdom from them per time. Let us not say those are old people. Every old person was once young. That is what we are told in mentorship. And we are already there. So Isikwe, when your time reaches, they'll say, no, look at that old man. You can't tell us anything.
What are some of the locker room tales that you've had, and the funniest and most unexpected thing that has happened to you in the locker room?
Well, locker rooms have some amazing stuff. I think let me remember some instances. We were before I experienced what we call ice bath. So I come from Madagascar. We have joined the team. I've joined the team in. We've gone to Dubai. Dubai, we were just okay. I've joined the team in South Africa. Cyprian Kuto has a jaw injury, so I'm called up to replace Cyprian Kuto. We're headed to Australia. Was it Canberra or where? And so my first experience, I've been trained to use just like a container. They put the ice there. You're able to say 2 minutes. Maze, that thing for me was scary. I was just feeling some pain. But now we go to Australia now. It's our old system. They set it as time. When you are here, there's a way it cools down at some point. That one, they set it there. It's set up, is water in the old system, you get in and then all the way to your neck. And then they set, so the temperature doesn't go down or high. The cold is there. And I will see these other sevens players. I mean, I was like, they were just normal. They get in, they're relaxed, like in Andrew, and I'm wondering, what is happening? For me, I can't feel my bones. And I just came out of that place. I think when we were in the current head coach for PC, because this guy is saying, if this is what it takes to play sevens, then I think I don't want to play. I don't want to play this game. We were in Dubai for was it the Repechage games? So we're changing, just excited. We are singing. I don't know what happened. It has never happened to me. I'm supposed to lead this chant song, and then lyrics imenipotelea. There are two songs kwangu zinafanana. Lyrics imepotea. So I'm just there like, yes, yes, for guys, yes, yes, for guys. I'm trying to record. It's not coming until I signal one of the players. For me, that I don't know how that crossed my mind. And I think at some point it kind of affected me just getting into the game itself. And then I see I started there changing. I don't know if I took a video of it. So sometimes we enjoy ourselves. I was taking the sneakers, I think of, was it Davis Chenga or it was Woos. So Asante has his boots on and still with his boots on, anaingiza mguu wake kwa hii viatu na inaingia yote na tunaweza funga. That's how big those shoes were. That is how those big shoes are. But locker room, amazing stuff, amazing stuff. Before the game, after the game, a lot of emotions, a lot of sweat, a lot of pain, a lot of silence at some point, especially at halftime. Are they leading? Are we leading? The coaches are giving their pep talk. And locker room is one area I think I want to invest on, having a whole talk about just mentorship, about what happens in the locker room. It's quite a good place. Quite a good place. What happens before, during the halftime, and after the game? After the game, either you see people celebrating, singing, just throwing all kinds of things, water being splashed all around, celebrations. And then there are two locker rooms in any game day, but they have different effects after the game.
We are a quick fire segment.
Yes, please.
Favorite rugby team outside Kenya to watch?
Wallabies, Australia. I've been a fan of the Wallabies for the longest time.
Who inspires you most in the rugby world?
Who, Radiki Samo, I think I mentioned too. Radiki Samo has been one of my mentors in the rugby world. And I think I loved Afro because of this guy. And then Kolisi. Kolisi inspires me a lot. As a captain, a winning captain, 2 times after Richie Mako, that's some great stuff. And this is captaining South Africa, so Africans. There's Africans at the same time. In just having all that nation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite a good one.
Quite a good one. Toughest opponent you faced?
Namibia is one quite tough opponent. I mean, these guys have beaten us during our time, not once, not twice. Outside Africa, I think one of the toughest I faced was Portugal. I don't know if we are the ones who just did approach that game, because as rookies we played Portugal in Kenya and we won that game big time. Then we get into years later, we lose a game almost with 80 points. So that for me was quite a painful stuff. Yeah.
Your go-to meal on game day?
For me, bread, sandwich, and stew does me well. Yeah.
So that's one thing you'd like to have at least before any game.
Before any game, I do bread, just half or all of it, some stew, and just juice or water.
One skill every rugby player should master.
One skill every rugby player should master. Communication skills. I now understand why in university ilikuwa inaitwa common unit. Com skills is a key area. And sometimes you hear, Nabana say, we are doing this. Hey, officer say, you guys, mulisikia you kitu kwe. I mean, how you interpret it is different. So communication skills for me, it would be one of the topmost. Because rugby, I mean, has a lot of chords and this and that. Constant communication that is coming within the field, outside. Right now, you see our coaches have walkie-talkies, like literally. The head coach is communicating on top. There's the physio has a walkie-talkie, the dog. So communication is coming in every time, every single time.
Martin, it's been great, having you here
Yeah.
at Sports. And you're doing great things beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
We are wishing you all the best as you continue to, inspire, impact, and also lead and execute on leadership, on mentorship. And, whichever way God gets to lead you here at Uber Sports, we appreciate what you do. And we are wishing you all the best. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. That was from me. Martin Owila Omondi is my name. And maybe just to reiterate on the tough thing that we talked about, for every sportsman, every sport lady outside there, be tough, be tough. And be tough in everything that you do. Yeah, be teachable. You can be corrected, you can be guided, you can be led. Be available, because we cannot use you unless you're available. So be available for the trainings, be available for the game, be available for different sessions, and also be available for yourself. And lastly, be faithful. We shared that example of the push-ups training. So sometimes coach might say we are going 50 push-ups, 100 push-ups. You might not be doing it as fast as the others, but reach to your 50. Be faithful to yourself and not just the team. Yeah, and to our parents who are watching, Maze, if your child is passionate about sports, take them to schools that have this kind of sports that they are passionate about and that they desire. So for those of you who are looking, I think this is one place to. We are having an open day. Yeah, Merisho School. The theme is Home of the Boy Child, CBC and 844. So we're having an open day on the 23rd of November 2024. So parents, you're welcome to come and just have an experience of what Merisho School have. I mean, we are big on sports, we are big on mentorship, and of course, academics. So it's a good place. It's a good place for your boys who want to join CBC and also just to continue from Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4. Santeni sana.
Awesome.
Thank you for
We
listening.
appreciate you. And if you had a chance,
Yeah.
would you join politics?
Oh my God! If the last 3-4 months, I've changed my name on WhatsApp to just Martin Owila to now ambassador, and I've campaigned before. I've been voted in before, I've asked for votes before. It's a place I'm passionate about, leadership. I've prayed about it. I've thought about it. Comrades power. I mean, it's tiresome for me. And so I was just saying, God, what are some of the areas again I can be able to serve my continent, my nation on? And actually realize, I mean, we have ambassadors, we have cabinet secretaries, we have personal assistants to these people. So for me, I'm looking at, just serving Kenya and serving you guys in one of the ministries very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
We are wishing you the best.
Thank you so much.
And we'll have to task you to that here at Wima before we let you go. I know our time is well spent
Yeah.
and it's almost over, but if you were to be the cabinet secretary of sports,
Yeah.
what would you do different?
I think what I'll do different, I had a privilege to meet the former cabinet secretary, and I've not had the privilege to meet the current. But I texted one of the peers and the friends. And one thing I think for me, I'll do best. As I said, we are not born knowing everything. The best thing is to bring people with the management skills in sports, those who have experience in sports, and work with them. We struggle so much, we want to do things on our own, yet we have people that we can bring on. When it comes to now, there are things that you give friends, there are things that you give your mates. This is general in sports. And we can use an example of the national politics. Is that okay? These are what we call gates, and that is why we have cabinet secretaries and stuff like that. Tenders and stuff like that, I can give you as my friend. But when it comes to now cabinet secretary, these are gates. You have access to different nations. And so for me personally, I think I'll just make a demarcation on where do I engage my friends, where do I engage my mates, where do I engage professionals, those who are skilled, those who are gifted in this specific area. Saul is not just looking for someone to come and sing by the name of David. The question is he skilled? And the question is yes. So they bring someone who has results. And we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people that can be able to help our cabinet secretary in the sports fraternity just to see sports grow. And on the other hand, I know Ababu Namambo was doing some things. Why not pick those things up? Whatever was working, make it the three areas. What is working, make it better. What is not working, improve on it. What needs to be brought anew, bring it on board. And I think from there we can grow from time to time and keep on growing. Because we have hope with sports. You see how the US of A is running with sports and entertainment. Whatever those two are doing,
Billions dollar industry.
Thank you. So we should be able to do this. Yeah, we went to have our Africa Cup of Nations in France at some point. We were asking ourselves, you mean no one can host us in Africa? Why? Resources. Yes, so we need to also build on resources to attract and host. Because when you attract and host these levels, it improves also in the economy. Yeah, so our cabinet secretary, Mr. Mukomen, we are here to still support you. As sportsmen, I mean, we are praying for you, and we want the best. So far, so good. You saw what happened with the amputees. We don't know the whole story. Right now, we have different stories coming aboard. But I mean, these are things that can be managed with people who are passionate and also professional in their areas of calling in terms of just what they do in sports. I think tutakuwa sawa. Asanteni sana.
All the best.
Thanks for having me. Great conversation.
Viewers, definitely.
Yeah, sure. 100%.
And the conversation doesn't stop, viewers. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Let's continue with the conversation in our own different circles. And as always, it's your host here at Wima Sports. A great honor hosting you all. A great honor having you all. And until next time, signing out, Jermaine.